Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. My name's Ian and you're watching The Weekend Painter. Please hit the subscribe button, like the video and hit the bell icon for future updates. In this video I'm going to show you how I've painted my Bloodangel Smash Captain. So here we have the Smash Captain. He's ready to paint. He is primed in Wilkinson's grey primer. There are some bits I've missed there. You can see the blue. Shouldn't be a problem. I'm going to give him a coat of Flesh Terrace contrast mixed 50-50 with contrast medium, and this is going to go all over the armour. I'm going to use a big brush. This is a size 3 brush. There's nothing technical going on here. So I'm just going to get the paint, see if I can give it a nice even coat. Now his helmet is going to be gold. So I'm just going to be putting this on the armour. I haven't got my setup the way that it needs to be. That's the two coats of the red done. Next I'm going to give the whole model a wash with Agrax Earthshade in all the recesses. Start giving me some shades, give me a nice dark red to work with. Now the Agrax is dry. I'm going to give the red armour a dry brush of Mephiston Red, and then a lighter dry brush of Wazdaka Red on the edges. Here we have my Artisopi dry brush, Series D, and this one is the small. What I want to get is the extra small. I thought that this was the smallest one they did, but it's not. Look at the size of it, it's quite big. So I am going to pick up the extra small because these brushes are really good. This is now the second highlight. This is Wazdaka Red. I'm just going to pick this up. It's going to be even lighter than the first one. So I want to go for the sharper edges, and I'm going to hit it slightly less than I hit it with the last red. So now the red's dry, I'm going to switch to a smaller brush, which is a character brush from Element Games. I'll leave the link in the description. Really good brushes. I've had these ones for a couple of years now. And I'm going to be using Abaddon Black, and I'm going to block in the areas that are going to be black and the areas that are going to be gold. I'm going to do the shoulder pad black. Careful not to hit the blood drop, because that's already red, and that's what I want to stay. So now all the areas that are going to be black or that are going to be gold have been given a coat of black. There's quite a lot of black on the model right now, but I think there might end up being more. I'm going to use contrast black, so I need to give it all a base coat of this. So I'm going to use Wraithbone, and I'm going to touch up as much of the cloak as I can. All of this red is going to get done. All of this is going to get done. This loincloth is going to get done. All in Wraithbone. Ready for the next stage, which is going to be contrast black. So now the cloak and the loincloth, I've got 2 thin coats of Wraithbone drying on them. That's going to allow me to do the contrast black on the back of the cloak here. I'm going to use Skeleton Horde on the inside, but as that's drying, I'm going to move on to doing the hammer. So the head of the hammer I'm going to be painting in this one, Canotept Alloy. It's a nice sort of off silvery gold colour. The handle I'm going to give coat of Genestealer purple, and then it's going to have a wash of black. Canotept Alloy, and I'm putting it straight over the grey base coat. Now the Cryptek alloy is all over the Thunderhammer. I'm going to give it a wash of the shade Cryptek Armor Shade Gloss. Quite like how this looks. The hammer done. Well, the shade on the hammer drying. We're going to leave that to dry before we highlight it up. So I'm going to move on to doing the back of the cloak. So I'm going to take a contrast black, and I'm going to use my big brush. It's my size 3. I'm going to drag it down. And go back to the top. I'm going to drag it down again. And then back to the top and drag it down again. And keep going like this, keeping the strokes going in the same direction, keeping the paint moving So I'm happy. Not going to go side to side because I'll get streaks. I'm going to keep it all moving. As that first layer of contrast black is drying, I'm going to do the skeleton horde on the inside of the cloak. I'm going to start it up in the very top and drag it down. This one is much thinner, so the colour underneath shows through quite well. So as those contrast paints are drying, I'm going to move on to doing the wings and the chalice on the shield and on the chest plate. And they're going to be white, so I'm going to paint them with Ultharan Grey to start with. Then I'll shade them, then I'll highlight them. Being careful now not to get it on the black, not to get it on the red. Don't want to have to go back and redo the work that I've already done. Now I'm going to use Screamer Pink on those purity seals. I don't actually want them to be purple. Next up, white areas that I've done on the winged chalice is going to get contrast Apothecary White. To shade it down. Make sure it gets into all of the little recesses of the wings. So you can see the details. And the chalice. Now I'm going to take some Necron Compound and I'm going to dry brush the Thunderhammer. Just pick up the edges. Same technique as I did on the red. Time to do the gold. The areas that are black are going to end up being gold. So I'm going to start with this, which is Vallejo Model Color Bronze as a base, and then I'm going to go over the top of it with this Model Color Gold, which apparently is really good. So that was the bronze. This is the gold. Straight out of the pot. I'm not going to put it on top of the bronze. I'm going to put it on top of the black to see how it looks. And straight away this one is much thinner. Much thinner. So this is it, and everything has got a coat of this Vallejo model gold on it. And it doesn't seem to be going on very well. I've seen lots of good reviews online, but what I'm finding is that it's very thin. The black is showing through it a lot. So I could go over it again and do another coat, but it's quite thick because it's a metallic. So what I'm gonna do, this here I've done in Retributor Armor, which is my favourite type of gold. It's a Games Workshop gold. I don't know if they still do it, but I think it's brilliant, it's amazing. This has been done in Retributor Armor. One layer of Retributor Armor over the thinner Vallejo model air gold. So I'm going to go over the whole model again. I'm going to give it a coat of Retributor Armor. So there he is now. He's got a coat of Retributor Armor all over the gold. So I'm actually going to use this Model Air Gold to highlight it because it's quite a nice bright gold. Little bits on my brush. And then on the edges, I'm not going to use the point of the brush, I'm going to use the flat of the brush. I'm going to draw over all the hard edges. So now I'm going to take the gold one stage higher. I'm going to be using Necron Compound, using this silver, and I'm going to pick out the very edges. So I want the edge of this blood drop. I want it on these wings. I want the edges to get picked up with the silver. So now that gold is looking very bright, too bright, which is fine, because now I'm going to shade it with regular flesh shade all over. And that's gonna stain the gold, make it a bit brown. And then I'm also going to use Jerky Violet in the deepest recesses of the gold. So here we go, thinned down regular flesh shade. I've mixed this in with 50-50 with Lamaya medium. So with the shade on the gold, I'm now going to go in and do some deeper recesses with Jerky Violet. Start with the eyes, drop a little bit in there. And I'm going to do it in the mouth, and I'm going to do it around the skull. And then around the words. So I'm going to drop it in here because it's going to fall between the letters, which is going to make the words stand out more. Over on this eagle. So where I put the highlight on the top of this wing here, that's where the highlight went. I'm going to put a shade under it. Just a little bit like that. And I'm going to try and move it around. a little bit in the cheekbone, or the recess of the cheek, just to highlight the cheekbone itself by shading the area around it. And a little bit around his nose. And there he is, complete. So off camera I did the base the same way as I've done my other bases. There's a tutorial for that. I will drop that up here so you can watch that video at a later date. I want to get this guy in the turntable and let you have a good look at him.